You have been walking with a key in your hand, and you did not know it. You've been searching for doors, trying to pick the locks of opportunity, yet the master key was already in your pocket, waiting for the moment you would dare to use it. Today is that moment. Not next month, not when life gets better. Now, because this is not just another video. This is a summons. And you are here because your spirit called it in. You may think you found me, but truth is, this message has been hunting you. For years you've been told that money comes from effort, from long hours, from sacrifice. They've told you that wealth is a reward given to the strongest, the luckiest, the most connected. And you believed them. Because that's the way the world appeared. But appearance is the greatest liar. The outer world is only a mirror, reflecting the sentence you have been speaking inside your own mind. A sentence written into the marrow of your being. A sentence you never knew you were repeating. Millionaires are not built from money. They are built from a sentence. A living word, a divine command that rearranges reality to obey it. And before you hear it, I must break the spell of the one you've been living under. You have been saying things in secret, phrases born of fear, words dipped in the poison of doubt. I can't afford it. That's too much. I'm not ready. I'll never be like them. You've been declaring your own smallness, and the universe has been faithfully agreeing. But there is a law older than fear, a current of creation stronger than circumstance. And once you speak from it, money will not trickle toward you. It will flood. It will rearrange itself to reach you, as rivers bend for gravity, as planets obey the pull of the sun. This law says you are the cause, not the victim, not the servant, the cause. Wealth does not visit those who are worthy. Wealth is summoned by those who know they already are. It moves toward the voice of authority. It kneels before the one who speaks as if they already hold it. And this is where the sentence comes in. The ancients knew it. The prophets whispered it. The great ones lived by it in silence. It is not complicated. It does not require years of study. It is not hidden behind rituals and gates. It is one sentence, but it must be spoken from the core of your being. Not mumbled like a wish, declared like a law. When you say it, your cells will stand at attention. Your thoughts will begin to march in formation. The field around you will bend to make room for the wealth that is already yours in the unseen. But before you speak it, you must understand. This sentence is not magic in the way you've been taught. It is magic because it is truth. Truth so pure it cuts through the fog of lack like a blade through silk. And the moment you speak truth, every lie that has been feeding your poverty begins to starve. So I will give it to you. But not as a trick, not as a slogan, as an oath you will marry your life to. Here it is, I am wealth, I am abundance, I am the source. Not, I want, not, I will, I am. When you declare this, you are not asking money to come. You are commanding it to reveal the truth it already knows, that it belongs to you, because you are not a beggar at the gate of life. You are the one who built the gate, and you are the one who opens it. Now, say it out loud. I am wealth, I am abundance, I am the source. Feel it ripple through you. Let it take root deeper than doubt. Speak it again, and again, until it is not something you say. It is what you are. Because millionaires are not made from hustle. They are made from identity. An identity is made from the sentence you dare to speak when the world tries to silence you. You have just spoken it. You have just crossed the threshold. From this moment forward, the current has shifted, and what happens next will not be a trickle. It will be a tide. You have been walking through life as if you are searching for something far away, straining your eyes toward the horizon, believing the treasure lies somewhere beyond reach. Yet the treasure has never been in the distance. The key you have been looking for has been in your possession all along, so close you could not see it. Like the sun you forget is behind the clouds, like the breath in your lungs you take for granted, it has been here, quietly waiting for you to notice. This key is not made of metal or shaped for a physical lock. It is not something to be found in a bank account, in a deal, or in a mentor's hand. It is a spiritual instrument, an inner authority, an invisible tool that bends reality itself. The wealthy know it, whether they can explain it or not. They move through the world with a certainty that others cannot name, and that certainty is born of knowing they already hold the master key. From the time you were young, you were taught to look outward for answers. School told you the path was in grades and credentials. Society told you the path was in hard work and long hours. The world around you fed you a picture of wealth as something you must chase, something granted by chance, luck, or someone else's approval. And so you searched. You chased. You knocked on countless doors. But there is a law woven into the fabric of existence: nothing truly yours can be withheld from you, and nothing you are searching for can arrive, until you realize you already have the seed of it. The key has been in your pocket in the form of words you have not yet spoken with power, in the form of beliefs you have not yet claimed as your own. This key is your consciousness. It is the inner image you hold of yourself, the silent sentence you repeat every day, whether you mean to or not. The truth is, every outcome in your life is unlocked or locked by the image you carry inside. You may think the locks are outside you, in the economy, in your connections, in your circumstances, but they are not. Every lock is in the mind, and every key is in the mind. A master key is different from an ordinary one. An ordinary key fits only one lock. A master key fits many. It does not matter what the door looks like, how thick it is, how impossible it seems. When you insert the master key, it opens. In the same way, there is one understanding, one knowing, that will open many doors in your life. That knowing is that you are the source. Wealth is not something that flows to you from outside. It is something that flows out of you. You do not chase it, you release it. You do not need to beg for it, you command it. This understanding changes how you see opportunities. Without the key, you walk past open doors and do not notice them. With the key, you see doors where others see only walls. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "How will I shape this?" You stop looking for someone to give you permission, because the key itself is permission. Many people will live their entire lives without realizing they have this key. They will keep asking the world to hand it to them, not knowing it was in their possession all along. They will think it must be earned, that it comes after years of suffering, that only a chosen few get it. But the truth is, the moment you decide to see yourself as the one who already has it, you step into the identity that unlocks every door you touch. This is why wealth, true wealth, begins long before the first dollar arrives. It begins in the mind, in the energy, in the language you use with yourself. The master key to wealth is knowing you already have it. And once you know this, you cannot unknow it. You may set it aside for a while, you may forget it in moments of doubt, but the truth of its presence will keep calling you back. It will remind you in dreams, in sudden ideas, in the quiet moments when you feel the pull of something greater. It is patient, but it is also relentless, because it was made for you, and you for it. Every word you speak is a seed, and every seed you plant grows into the landscape you now walk through. Your life today is a garden shaped by sentences you spoke yesterday, and your tomorrow will be shaped by the sentences you speak today. Most people do not realize they are gardeners. They think their thoughts are harmless, casual, without power. They believe their passing words disappear into the air, forgotten as soon as they are spoken. But the truth is, every word is an instruction to the universe, every sentence a blueprint for what will be built around you. The reason your reality looks the way it does is because of the unconscious sentences you have been speaking, often without noticing, day after day, year after year. Some of these sentences are inherited. You absorbed them as a child, hearing the adults around you talk about money, success, and limitation. You may have heard, "We can't afford that," or "Money doesn't grow on trees," so many times that it became part of your inner language. Without question, you repeated them, not knowing you were programming the soil of your own life with scarcity. You may have said, "That's too expensive," or "People like me don't get rich," thinking you were simply stating facts, but you were declaring laws, and the world around you took those laws seriously. The universe does not distinguish between a sentence spoken in jest and one spoken with intent. It only knows the vibration behind your words, the energy that charges them. When you say, "I'm broke," even casually, you are stamping your reality with that identity. When you say, "I'll never make it," you are authorizing circumstances to prove you right. The outer world has no choice but to mirror the inner decree. You have been living inside sentences that you did not even choose, yet they have chosen the shape of your life. Every sentence carries an image, and every image becomes a mold. Speak of lack, and you mold lack. Speak of abundance, and you mold abundance. The challenge is that most people speak from what they see, not from what they desire. They think they are being realistic when they describe their problems, but they are only repeating and reinforcing them. The secret the wealthy understand is that you must speak from the unseen, not the seen. You must speak as if the reality you desire is already here, because in the spiritual realm, it already is. Your words are not passive, they are commands. They do not merely describe, they create. When you say, "Money flows to me with ease," you are not making a hopeful statement, you are issuing an order to the field of possibility. That order ripples outward, rearranging people, opportunities, and circumstances to match the command. The wealth you see in others is not an accident, it is the result of consistent, intentional declarations. Their sentences align with the abundance they expect, and so abundance obeys them. The tragedy is that many speak more powerfully against themselves than for themselves. They will pour energy into complaining, criticizing, or worrying, not realizing those are affirmations too. Affirmations of the very life they wish to escape. They believe affirmations are something you do for a few minutes in the morning, but the truth is, you are affirming something all day long. Every casual remark about how hard things are, every joke about never having enough, every sigh of, "That will never happen for me," is an affirmation. The question is not whether you affirm, but what you affirm. Once you become aware of this, your speech changes. You begin to catch yourself before you speak a sentence that sows scarcity. You pause, you choose again, you redirect. You begin to replace words of lack with words of power. You say, "I can afford it," even if your bank account has not yet caught up, because you understand that the bank account is not the source, your consciousness is. You say, "Opportunities find me," even if you do not yet see them, because you know that your words are the invitation. There is a sacred discipline in watching your tongue. The ancient texts say that life and death are in the power of the tongue, and this is not poetic exaggeration. Your tongue is a key that turns the locks of reality. You can speak life into your finances, or you can speak death into them. You can speak doors open, or you can speak them shut. The wealthy have learned to guard their words like treasure, knowing that each one is a seed they will soon have to harvest. You may not be able to change every outer circumstance overnight, but you can change the sentences you speak in this very moment. And when you do, you change the root, not just the branches. You stop repeating the tired mantras of scarcity, passed down through generations, and begin to craft sentences that carry the vibration of wealth. You speak as the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. You understand that each word you speak is a decree written into the fabric of reality. And the more you speak from abundance, the more abundance must answer. Wealth has never been a reward for the busiest hands or the longest hours. If it were, the hardest workers in the world would be the wealthiest. Yet you can see with your own eyes that this is not so. There are those who grind themselves to exhaustion, and still, money slips through their fingers. And there are others who seem to move through life with ease, attracting wealth as naturally as the sun draws flowers to bloom. The difference is not in their effort. The difference is in their identity. Wealth responds to identity before it responds to action. It is not about what you do first. It is about who you believe you are while you do it. Your identity is the invisible signal you send into the world. It is the frequency that tells money how to treat you, opportunities whether to approach you, and people whether to trust you. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, money will mirror that image. If you see yourself as someone who is always taken care of, money will show up to fulfill that picture. You cannot escape the truth that you only receive what matches the image you hold of yourself. This is why two people can do the exact same actions, follow the same plan, read the same books, invest the same amount of effort, and still end up with entirely different results. The outer steps are not the cause, the inner identity is. Identity is not just the story you tell others, it is the story you tell yourself when no one else can hear. It is the voice in your head that whispers who you are, what you are capable of, and what is possible for you. If that voice tells you that you are trying to get rich, then wealth will always remain something in the distance, something you are chasing. If that voice tells you that you are already wealthy in essence, that abundance is a part of your being, then every action you take flows from a place of already having. And when you move as though you already have, the world responds by delivering the evidence. Wealth is loyal to certainty. It does not linger where it feels unwelcome. And it does not chase those who are unsure of their worth. This is why identity matters more than effort. You can hustle for years and still repel the very thing you are chasing if your identity says, "I am not the kind of person who has this." You may not even realize you are carrying this identity, but it shows in the small ways, in how you price your work, in how you speak about your finances, in how you react to opportunities. The wealthy carry themselves differently, because their identity has been shaped to match wealth. This shaping is not always about having the money first. It is about believing they are worthy of it, capable of managing it, and destined to create more of it. That belief radiates in their words, their posture, their decisions. They do not approach opportunities wondering if they are good enough for them. They decide whether the opportunities are good enough for them. This is the subtle but powerful difference between someone who has wealth and someone who only chases it. The moment you shift your identity, your actions naturally follow. You do not have to force yourself into wealthy behavior. It becomes instinct. You spend differently, not recklessly but confidently. You invest in yourself without hesitation, because you no longer see it as a risk, but as a natural extension of who you are. You speak about money without fear or shame, because you no longer see it as something above you. It is something that flows with you. Changing your identity does not mean pretending to be something you are not. It means uncovering the truth about who you have always been beneath the conditioning of scarcity. You were born without the belief that you are limited. You were taught it. And anything taught can be untaught. When you strip away the layers of doubt and limitation, what remains is a self that understands wealth as a natural state, not an impossible dream. This is why the inner work must come before the outer work. You can read every strategy, memorize every method, copy every move of the wealthy, but if your identity is still rooted in lack, you will sabotage your own success without realizing it. You will find ways to delay, to underprice, to doubt, to settle. And the world will agree with the story you are telling about yourself. But when you root your identity in abundance, you cannot help but act in ways that create it. Your energy shifts, your presence commands. You stop chasing and start attracting, because you have become the kind of person that wealth recognizes as its own. A single sentence can cut through the noise of years, dismantling beliefs that have stood like stone walls in your mind. For decades, you may have carried thoughts inherited from family, absorbed from culture, or gathered through painful experiences, thoughts that whispered, "Money is hard to come by. People like me don't get ahead. Success is for others, not for me." These beliefs take root quietly, growing deeper with each repeated word, until they feel like unshakable truths. But they are not truths. They are agreements you made without realizing it. And agreements can be broken the moment you decide to speak something stronger. One sentence, spoken with authority, can override years of conditioning. One declaration, rooted in conviction, can flood the soil of your mind and dissolve the weeds of lack. This is the power of the spoken word. It does not just inform, it transforms. When a sentence is spoken with intent, it carries a vibration that reaches into the unseen and begins rearranging the scene. Your mind listens. Your cells listen. The field of reality around you listens. Everything begins to shift in obedience to the new command. This is why it is not enough to merely think about changing your beliefs. You must speak the new belief into being. Thoughts left unspoken can remain fragile, wavering under the weight of old patterns. But words spoken aloud anchor the new reality in place. The reason a single sentence can be so powerful is because the mind seeks consistency. Once you declare something with conviction, your subconscious will begin to align every thought, feeling, and action to match it. The old beliefs will rise up in protest at first, but with repetition, the new sentence becomes the dominant program. Your inner conversations start to change. Where you once thought, "I can't afford that," you now think, "Wealth flows to me easily." Where you once felt anxiety at the sight of a bill, you now feel an inner calm, trusting that you are provided for. The sentence becomes more than words, it becomes your default identity. Many people underestimate this power because they have tried affirmations before and seen no result. But the missing ingredient was conviction. Words spoken from doubt carry the energy of doubt. A sentence repeated mechanically is like a seed thrown onto stone. It will not take root. The power lies in speaking the sentence as if it is already true, feeling it in your bones, knowing it is not a request to the universe, but a command. You are not asking for permission to be wealthy. You are declaring that you are. The wealthy understand this instinctively. They do not speak from where they are. They speak from where they have decided to be. Their words are not casual. They are deliberate. They know that every sentence shapes the field they walk in. And so they guard their speech, cutting off words that would affirm limitation, replacing them with words that affirm expansion. They know that the tongue can open doors or close them, and they choose sentences that open. A single sentence, when spoken with unwavering belief, can also break the emotional chains tied to your past. You may have memories of failure, rejection, or scarcity that feel heavy and unchangeable. But when you speak a new sentence with true authority, it is like lighting a torch in a dark room. The darkness does not fight you. It simply disappears. The old story loses its hold because you have chosen a higher truth. The sentence becomes the new reference point for your life. Every decision, every action, every opportunity is measured against it. Does this align with who I am now? If not, it falls away naturally. This is not about denying reality. It is about creating it. You are not ignoring your circumstances. You are declaring a new identity that will shape them. You are not pretending to be wealthy while secretly feeling poor. You are choosing to speak wealth until your entire being recognizes it as fact. And as soon as your being accepts it, the outer world will match it. The shift often happens faster than you think, because once the old programming is replaced, you no longer sabotage yourself. You stop turning away opportunities. You stop underestimating your value. You stop preparing for loss and start preparing for expansion. A single sentence can become the foundation for your life. It can carry you through moments of uncertainty and keep you anchored when fear tries to pull you back. It can remind you, in the face of doubt, of who you truly are and what you have claimed. It is the North Star that keeps you moving in the direction of abundance, no matter what the temporary scenery looks like. And over time, that one sentence becomes the story everyone else sees in you. Because you spoke it until it became flesh, until it became the reality you now live in. When you speak wealth as truth, you are not making a wish. You are stating a fact that exists beyond the reach of your current circumstances. Most people speak about money as if it were something separate from them, something they must chase, earn, or prove themselves worthy of. They speak in the language of distance. I hope one day I'll have enough. Maybe it will happen for me. If I work hard enough, I might get there. But wealth does not respond to distance, it responds to recognition. It comes to the one who speaks as if it is already present, as if it has always been part of their life. Speaking wealth as truth is not pretending. It is aligning your language with the deeper reality that you are already connected to all that you will ever need. This shift in speech changes everything. When you say, I am wealth, you are not claiming something you do not have. You are claiming something you are. This removes the struggle, the gap, the endless waiting. It plants you in the center of abundance, instead of at the edges, looking in. You stop positioning yourself as a seeker and start positioning yourself as a source. And when you speak from the position of source, the world reorganizes to match your declaration. People, opportunities, and resources begin to move toward you in ways you could not have forced or planned, because you have stopped speaking as an outsider and started speaking as an owner. Speaking wealth as truth also shifts your energy. Words are not just sounds, they are carriers of frequency. The frequency of, I hope it happens, is weak and scattered. The frequency of, it is done, is strong and commanding. When you speak with the energy of completion, you radiate certainty, and certainty is magnetic. People trust certainty. Money trusts certainty. Opportunities trust certainty. The moment you stop speaking from doubt, you stop pushing abundance away with the vibration of lack. The mind will try to resist this at first. It will point to your bank account and say, see, you are lying to yourself. It will list the debts, the bills, the obligations, the reasons why it can't be true yet. But you are not speaking to agree with your current circumstances. You are speaking to transform them. You are speaking from the reality you are creating, not the one you are leaving behind. Just as an architect speaks of the building while it is still a drawing, you speak of your wealth while it is still forming in the unseen. You are not denying the present, you are defining the future. When you speak wealth as truth, you also give yourself permission to act differently. You invest differently, you decide differently, you carry yourself differently. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, does this align with who I am now? You stop measuring everything against scarcity and start measuring it against abundance. And because your actions now match your declarations, the results follow faster. This is not wishful thinking. It is cause and effect. Your language shapes your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. The reason many people struggle to attract wealth is that they speak from a place of absence while trying to build a life of abundance. They say the right affirmations for a few minutes in the morning, but then spend the rest of the day talking about bills, lack, and limitations. They plant a seed of abundance in the morning, and then spend the rest of the day digging it up with words of doubt. Speaking wealth as truth means you guard your words at all times. You refuse to water scarcity with your speech. You treat every sentence as a decree, understanding that each one shapes the atmosphere you live in. This practice requires awareness. You begin to catch the subtle ways you deny your own abundance. Every time you make a self-deprecating joke about being broke, every time you hesitate to receive, every time you downplay your worth, you stop giving those sentences power, and you replace them with sentences that affirm your wealth. And with repetition, the truth you speak begins to feel natural. At first, it may feel like you are reaching for something far away. But the more you declare it, the more it becomes your normal way of being. Eventually, you no longer have to remind yourself to speak as wealth. You simply do, because it is who you have become. Speaking wealth as truth also breaks the habit of waiting. Many live in a constant state of postponement, waiting for the raise, the opportunity, the windfall. They put their life on hold until the money shows up. But when you declare yourself as wealth now, you stop waiting to live. You stop postponing joy, generosity, and expansion. You live as if you are already in possession of the life you desire, and in doing so, you create the conditions for it to manifest faster. The outer world has no choice but to align with the inner truth you refuse to let go of. Speaking wealth as truth turns your words into the very foundation upon which your abundance is built. The sentence, "I am wealth. I am abundance. I am the source," is not just a collection of words. It is a direct command to your reality, a reprogramming of your identity, and a claim of your divine authority over creation. Each part of this sentence carries its own power, and together they form a complete shift in the way you experience life. When you say, "I am wealth," you are not speaking about something outside of you. You are not talking about the numbers in your bank account or the possessions in your home. You are declaring that wealth is your nature, that it flows from you effortlessly, because it is part of who you are. This bypasses the constant chase and the feeling of being separate from the very thing you desire. You are not becoming wealthy. You already are, and your outer world is simply catching up to this truth. When you say, "I am abundance," you expand the scope beyond money. Abundance includes health, love, opportunity, creativity, peace. You remove the limits from your prosperity and allow it to touch every area of your life. This keeps you from falling into the trap of believing that only financial gain matters, while the rest of your life remains dry. You begin to see wealth in the sunrise, in the friendships you have, in the skills you've cultivated, and this awareness multiplies your blessings. The more you recognize abundance in all forms, the more it multiplies in every form, including money. And when you say, "I am the source," you step into the highest level of ownership. You are no longer at the mercy of employers, markets, clients, or the economy. You are no longer waiting for someone else to grant you permission to prosper. You realize that every dollar, every opportunity, every connection is drawn from the well within you. You stop fearing that something outside you can cut off your supply, because you understand that the true supply is infinite and flows through you at all times. This awareness dissolves anxiety. It removes desperation. It replaces the energy of grasping with the energy of giving, and what you give returns multiplied. Repeating this sentence is not about forcing yourself to believe something that feels false. It is about speaking the truth of who you are until it becomes your dominant reality. At first, your mind may resist. Old programming will rise up, trying to convince you that you are lying to yourself, that you need proof before you can make such declarations. But this is the very conditioning that has kept you bound to limitation. The mind has been trained to only believe what it can see, forgetting that what you see is always the result of what you first believed. This sentence flips that pattern. It demands that you speak first, believe first, embody first, and let the evidence follow. The power of this sentence lies in its simplicity. There is nothing to memorize, no complex ritual to follow, no elaborate process to perform. It is a sentence you can carry with you into every moment of your day. You can whisper it in the morning as you wake. You can declare it before making decisions. You can speak it silently in your mind when doubt tries to creep in. The repetition does not just remind you, it reshapes you. Every time you say it, you reinforce the neural pathways in your brain that align with abundance. You make it easier for your mind to recognize opportunities, easier for your emotions to rest in certainty, easier for your actions to match the reality you have claimed. Over time, this sentence becomes more than a practice. It becomes your identity. You begin to think from it, walk from it, make choices from it. You stop chasing money because you no longer feel separate from it. You start creating from overflow instead of striving from lack. People feel the shift in you. They sense the confidence, the ease, the quiet authority that comes from knowing you are the source. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, but they are not random. They are the reflection of the inner reality you have built with your words. The sentence also serves as a filter. Anything that does not align with, "I am wealth," "I am abundance," "I am the source," naturally falls away. You stop entertaining relationships, jobs, and situations that drain you or keep you small. You stop speaking words that contradict your truth. You stop accepting less than you deserve. Your standards rise, not from arrogance, but from alignment. And because you now hold yourself to this higher standard, the universe matches it. Speaking this sentence is not a one-time event. It is a continual act of creation. Each time you say it, you reaffirm your place as the author of your story. You reaffirm that you are not waiting for wealth. You are radiating it. You reaffirm that you are not trying to be abundant. You are abundance in form. You reaffirm that you are not a seeker. You are the source from which all you desire flows. This sentence becomes the axis your life turns on, the foundation that cannot be shaken, the truth that every area of your life begins to reflect back to you in ways that feel natural, inevitable,